Tuesday, October 3rd, 2017, meeting of the Greater Dayton Board of Trustees is hereby called to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would you call the roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Hurd?
Here.
Ms. Hairston?
Present.
Ms. Howard?
Present.
Mr. Williamson? Mr. Corrado?
Here.
Mr. Hoagie?
Present.
Mr. Weckeser?
Here.
Mr. Lumpkin?
Here.
Thank you.
Okay. We do have a quorum, so we can conduct business. Once again, a reminder, our vision is to be a premier public transportation provider that connects people and communities. Our mission is to provide great value, dependable service, and to be responsive, timely, and accountable for all that we do. And our motto is, "It's time to ride." Board members, you have in front of you the agenda for today. Are there any adjustments or corrections? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
I'll second that.
All in favor of approving the agenda?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The agenda has been approved as presented. Now, for the September 5th board meeting minutes, the minutes of that meeting were presented for review to all board members prior to today's meeting. Unless there's any board member who requests a reading of the minutes, I will ask if there are any corrections or additions to the minutes as presented. Hearing none, having heard no request for a reading of the minutes nor any corrections or additions, the minutes stand approved as presented. We will now move into committee reports. First, we have the Finance and Personnel Committee. Mr. Lumpkin.
Thank you, Madam President. Finance and Personnel and Planning Committees met for a jointly held meeting on September 19th. As a result of the committee, it is recommending 5 action items for the board's consideration. Action item number 2, group medical and prescription insurance. This procurement is for the group medical and prescription drug coverage for employees of the Greater Dayton RTA. RTA provides health coverage in accordance with our labor agreements and administrative employee benefits plan. Group medical and prescription drug coverage is coming before the board now because the current contract for administrative services and stop-loss insurance expires December 31st, 2017. In addition, there's an ongoing network contract dispute between our current administrator, United Healthcare, and Premier Health Network, which has resulted in limited network access for RTA employees and their families. Keeping the cost of health care manageable for both the RTA and the employees supports the RTA's core value of stewardship. Ms. Beth Bailey and Mr. Steve Hoff of McGowan Brabender made a presentation at our committee meeting, and the supporting information is included in today's board package. Mary Stanforth is available to answer any additional questions the board may have at this time. Hearing none, based upon the recommendation of the committee, I move to award a contract to Medical Mutual of Ohio for self-insured medical and prescription insurance in the total estimated amount of $9,042,696 for a one-year period based on the current census. Medical Mutual of Ohio will also be awarded an estimated $262,129 for administrative services for an option year 1 and $267,350 for option year 2, for a grand total award of $9,572,175. The actual dollar amounts will vary based upon the census and possible cost savings changes made to the plan. The total insurance cost for option year 1 and option year 2 will depend on the proposals received at that time and will be brought to the board for further approval. This procurement will be funded with operating funds.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we award a contract for group medical self-insurance and prescription insurance to Medical Mutual of Ohio for a grand total of $9,572,175. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Contract has been awarded to Medical Mutual of Ohio.
Action item number 3, revised procurement policy number 10, small purchases procedure. This procedure governs the routine procurement of goods and/or services that are not regular inventory items nor covered by a blanket purchase order and do not exceed $100,000 annually. Dues, subscriptions, registration fees, travel advances, and gift certificates do not require a purchase order, but may be paid through the check request from or procurement card. However, these purchases are still subject to the authorization limit of $100,000. Ms. Deborah Howard provided a detailed explanation at our committee meeting and supporting information included in today's board package. Deborah is available to answer any questions that the board may have at this time. It's also important to note, RTA attorney Jonathan Hollingsworth has reviewed and concurred with these changes.
Second.
Nope, hearing no questions.
I'm sorry.
Based on the recommendation, the Finance Personnel Committee, I move to approve revised procurement policy number 10, small purchases procedure.
Okay, Sharon?
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and second that we approve the updated procurement policy number 10 for small purchase procedures. Are there any other questions? Okay, hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The procurement policies will be updated as indicated for policy number 10 in today's detail.
Action item number 4, hydro excavating pole foundations. Purpose of this procurement is for the Greater Dayton RTA to contract with a qualified vendor for hydro excavating pole foundations. Contractor will be required to hydro excavate foundations that cannot be dug using standard foundation installation techniques. This technique is utilized to avoid destroying underground systems such as water lines, electrical, etc. This project is consistent with RTA's core values of safety, integrity, and stewardship as we demonstrate our commitment to improve the overhead trolley system infrastructure. Mr. Rosinski provided a detailed explanation at our committee meeting, and the supporting information is included in today's board package. Staff is available to answer any questions the board may have at this time. Hearing none, based upon the recommendation of the committee, I move to award a 5-year contract to Associated Hydro Excavating Incorporated for the hydro excavating pole foundations for a total of $147,000.
There's more to that.
And to ratify the
Yeah,
previous one.
There has to be more to the resolution.
In addition, to recommend that $94,600 previously spent under small purchases be ratified for a grand total amount of $241,600. Would you amend your motion?
Yes,
to
we
include
will
that?
amend the motion to reflect what has been read by the president.
Okay. Your second remains? Okay, it's been properly moved and second that we award a contract to Associated Hydro Excavating for the hydro excavating pole foundations, as well as ratifying a previously amount that was spent under small purchasing to bring it to a grand total of $241,600. Are there any questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Contract to Associated Hydro Excavating totaling $241,600.
Action item number 5, sale of scrap metal. Purpose of this procurement is to contract with a firm for the sale and disposal of scrap metal generated by the operations line and maintenance departments to generate revenue for the Greater Dayton RTA. The scrap metals consist of the bare copper trolley wires, insulated or dirty copper trolley wires, and miscellaneous metals such as aluminum, galvanized steel, yellow brass, and copper. This project is consistent with the RTA's core values of stewardship as we help to improve the environment by recycling, as well as generating revenue that will increase our operating funds. Mr. Brown provided a detailed explanation at our committee meeting, and the supporting information is included in today's board package. Mr. Brown is available to answer any questions that the board may have at this time. Hearing none, based on the recommendations of the committee, I move to award a 1-year contract plus 2 one-year options to A&B Iron and Metal Company Incorporation for all items based upon the American metal market pricing at the time of sale.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded that we award the contract for our sale of scrap metal to A&B Iron and Metal Company. Are there any questions? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We are awarding the contract to A&B Iron and Metal Company Incorporated.
Action item number 6, resolution number 2017-10-1, Fast Act Flexible Funding to Support Transit Projects. Greater Dayton RTA has been notified by the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission, MVRPC, regarding the solicitation of new transportation projects under the Congestion Mitigation, Air Quality, and Surface Transportation Program. That's a mouthful. Once submitted, applications for the proposed new projects are to be reviewed and evaluated for possible inclusion on the State Transportation Improvement Program. In reviewing the region's transportation needs, staff has developed the attached project that is eligible for flexible funding and proposes being scrutinized in the context of MVRPC practices and policies. Mr. Rosinski provided a detailed explanation at our committee meeting, and the supporting information is included in today's board package. Staff is available to answer any questions the board may have at this time. Hearing none, based on the recommendation of the committee, I move to approve resolution number 2017-10-1, authorizing the submittal of all necessary documents and the fulfillment of all other requirements to obtain additional funding for projects approved by MVRPC.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. We approve resolution 2017-10-1 for Fast Act Flexible Funding. Any other questions? All those in favor say yes.
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 Opposed? Okay. Just seeing if you were awake. Okay. Motion carried. The resolution 2017-10-1 for Fast Act Flexible Funding has been approved. Mr. Lumpkin, do you have a report at this time?
Yes, additional items to mention. Sales tax update for June 2017. At the meeting, Mr. Robert Thomas stated that the 2017 receipts are $62,000 higher than June of 2016. This equates to a 1.7% increase. Year-to-date, 2017 receipts are $25,000 lower year-to-date than June 2016. That equates to a 0.1% decrease. After 6 months, receipts totaled $20.7 million compared to a budgeted $21.6 million. This reflects a budget shortfall thus far of $0.9 million. The August financial statements, Mr. Thomas also reported that for August 2017, RTA's net income after local depreciation is $25,000 compared to the budgeted loss of $363,000. August 2017 year-to-date net loss after local depreciation is $1 million compared to a budgeted loss of $2.1 million. The details associated with the financial statements are included in the committee package. After 8 months of operation, RTA realized a $1.2 million positive variance as compared to budget. And that concludes my report, Madam President.
Thank you. Ms. Howard.
Thank you, Madam President. The Finance, Personnel, and Planning Committees met for a jointly held meeting on September 19th. And while we do not have any action items to bring before you, we do have important updates to provide. Mr. Brandon Polachicchio provided a summary document of recent activities in the Customer and Business Development Department. Highlights of this month's report included information on the RTA Connect program, system-wide amenity work underway, and the official launch of promotional events on local university and college campuses. Mr. Polachicchio indicated that the Day Pass sales promotion was very successful in both ridership and revenue compared to 2016. As a result, RTA will continue the promotion until the end of the year. He also indicated that research has started for replacement of the current fare collection system as RTA moves toward a more customer-friendly and easy-to-use system. Mr. Polachicchio also mentioned that the RTA Connect Shopping Shuttle program will launch in early October. serving the Siebenthaler Kroger for eligible Connect Paratransit customers. This concludes my report, Madam President, and Mr. Polachicchio or I will be available for any questions you may have.
Do we have any questions at this time? It's kind of exciting.
Very exciting.
Yes. Chief Executive Officer's report, Mr. Donahue.
Thank you, Madam President. Just a few informational items. I think a number of people are aware, but our next-gen bus has returned to Dayton. It's back in service on the street here. It's completed all the tests in Pennsylvania, and now we're just awaiting the document, which is required that we actually possess it before we release our production order for new buses. In the interim, we're working with both Keepy Electric and Gillig regarding the details of what the production buses would look like. This would just be incorporating all the changes we've made over the past few years during the prototype testing, basically the improvements we've made. So we're working on that. I think you know, I think I gave you a heads up last week in the floor below this one. Last week we hosted our friends from the American Bus Benchmarking Group. We had about 50, 60 people here for most of the week. And it was a great meeting. It's a good group. Some of the board members met with the folks from Imperial College on Monday. I don't think the last people left town until Friday morning, so I was encouraging them to spend while they were here so we could reap as much sales tax as we could. And as they parted, we waved goodbye and said, see you in 20 years, because, you know, we rotate who hosts these meetings. There's only one meeting, a physical meeting of this group every year. And it rotates between members, but we also opted to grow the group once again to get even a little bit larger. So, you know, I think it's been good for us, and it was great to host the meeting here. Our staff did an incredible job of managing the details associated with that, and we were very pleased. So today we hosted ODOT, and Brandon was supporting ODOT Office of Transit wanted to do a retreat of sorts, and they wanted to get out of Columbus, so we hosted them here. When I caught up with them, they were driving a bus over at UD, so some of the people who had never had that experience got to experience what that's like. And if you work in the Office of Transit, I think you probably should have an experience like that. So they had a lot of fun with it. The director of the Office of Transit, Chuck Dyer, is somebody we really like, and I say that on behalf of not just our organization, but our statewide group. He's a very passionate young man that really is a believer in what we do. So we were very pleased that Jerry Ray selected him to be the new director of that office. And he's working closely with us on some of our pet issues like coordination of human service transportation. In fact, I think they're coming back Thursday here in Dayton to have another meeting regarding that with his boss, Jennifer Townley. So obviously that was a fun day for them, I hope. And then I believe they donated some time at, was it House of Bread? Whenever they go remotely, they donate some of their time in a local organization. So they went over to House of Bread and gave a few hours of service, which I thought was really great. And finally, I would just like to make a request at the end of the meeting that we do have an executive session to discuss, to give the board an update on some litigation and also to discuss preparation for an upcoming labor negotiation. That's it, unless you have questions.
Okay. I do not have any old business to bring before the board. New business, the nominating committee report. We already did that.
You have to vote the new offices.
Oh, we have to vote, okay. So who chaired the nominating committee? Dave?
Vince.
I am, and unfortunately, I do not have my nominating committee letter with me.
Okay, if,
That was read last month. I think we need to vote on the officers. I think
Just the offices.
okay. So if I remember correctly, the nominating committee report was that,
I can go
Okay.
and give you the report.
okay,
There was also a nominating committee where that, Adrian, you extend another year for, as president, and Sharon, join you as, vice president for another year. And that was a unanimous decision from the entire board. We spent a lot of time on that because we wanted to really focus not only on that, but the years ahead. And I think we've got a number of people lined up to move up the change. I know we have at least three. So,
okay.
that's my report.
So at this point, do I accept his report or we vote on?
Be president for the 2017-2018 calendar year, and that Sharon Hairston join her as vice president for the 2017-2018.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay, are there any nominations from the floor? No.
I nominate.
Okay. All those in favor of the report as submitted by the nominating committee with Adrian Hurd as remaining as president and Sharon Hairston for another year as vice president, please say yes.
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 Opposed? Okay. Motion carried. Thank you for your confidence. The officers for the upcoming year are Adrian Hurd and Sharon Hairston. Do we have any requests for public comment?
No, ma'am.
Board member comments and announcements. Board members, in front of you, you have the compilation of the board evaluation report. We will review this at our next work session. One of the things we'll discuss at the next work session is what you as an individual can do to take us to increase the average, and if there are any clarification on any of the comments. Board member comments? Let's start with Dave. Do you have any?
No, Madam Chair.
Is there a bigger parking lot so that I can drive a bus around?
We can arrange this.
That would be awesome.
Let us know what day it is so we all stay home.
Yeah. Get off the road.
I have no comments, Madam President.
No comments.
No comment.
I'd just like to thank Adrian and Sharon for agreeing to serve for another year on behalf of the citizens of this region.
Oh, well, thank you.
Well, thank you, I think.
Okay, at this time, I will ask for a request to adjourn into executive session for two purposes. Purpose number one, preparing for bargaining sessions with employees, and purpose number two, to discuss pending
Litigation.
litigation. There will be no action taken when we reconvene to regular session. So is there a motion to adjourn into executive session for those two purposes?
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. We adjourn into executive session to prepare for bargaining session with employees and to discuss pending litigation. Are there any questions?
Roll.
Okay. Would you do a roll call?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Corrado?
Yes.
Ms. Hairston?
Yes.
Ms. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Hovey?
Yes.
Ms. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Lumpkin?
Yes.
Mr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Weckenser?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Motion carried. We are adjourned into executive session, and as I stated, there will be no action taken once we reconvene into regular session. We will move into this room for executive session.